Hello everyone, my name is Nathan and today it's time for another episode of Oxygen Not Included Spaced Out DLC. In the previous episode we populated the third planetoid with one duplicant in order to take care of the base. And as you can see, we also set up a rocket platform for a bunch of rockets to arrive here and bring over materials, but especially I want to go ahead and bring gold amalgam to my main base. The reason we want to do that is because we have started a new contraption here and I want to build a bunch of machines out of gold amalgam for its overheat temperature, which is basically why we got stuck here a little bit in this contraption. I want to keep things simple and efficient in today's episode, which is why we're not going to use the cargo module. If you look at this can only store 600 kilograms. And I really think that is better suited for some automation later. What we are actually going to utilize is, if we have a look in here, the storage bin, which can contain 20,000 kilograms. However, there's one thing we want to bring over, namely one atmos suit. So that is another thing I will have to go ahead and prepare. Right here, we're going to build another atmos suit that is hopefully going to be stored in this upper chest. And then we can go ahead and take a flight. I also need a tiny amount of carbon dioxide in order to fill this up, but then we can also go ahead and basically take apart this trailblazing module. In the meantime, Max is still taking care of expanding the base a little bit. I think what he can already do is set up an atmos suit station. We should also have enough materials. I'm also going to build this out of aluminium since there is a lot of it in this world. Of course, also a atmos suit dock, and then we need to figure out a way to fill this up. Now, if we look at my algae, I have another 1 ton of it. Should be enough to keep us going for a while, but that is definitely one thing we will have to consider in today's episode on how to improve. In the rocket itself, I'm going to store a little bit of barbecue. Theoretically, we should still have enough of that. Oh, actually we don't. Well, I guess in this case we're going for swampy delights, just 5 kilograms. Shouldn't hurt us too much since it's most likely to go bad. Another thing I would like to finally do is move these farms. They will now go over here. Now the question is, do we automatically want to supply them with the polluted water? Or do we want to go with an entirely different plant? Maybe a plant that requires water would make more sense. Let's actually see what other options we have. The grub fruit seed, for instance. Looks like this is only going to need an atmosphere and then a tiny amount of sulfur. Can we actually go ahead and cook this up? The grub fruit preserve. That's probably what we want to go for. But this actually also uses a little bit of sucrose. So I will have to observe whether or not my critter farms are keeping up with the demand. But in this case, let's freaking do this. I'm gonna exchange all of these tiles actually. So it's not gonna be that many tiles. Maybe we're gonna rearrange this a little bit. We can have another tile here in order to get rid of this tile and still keep the size of the farm, and then we can do something like that. Or maybe even better, we set up another tile here, which means we can move the storage bin over here and therefore set up another farm tile. Yeah, that's probably more like it. This also means we need to move our critter drop-off point eventually. Look at this guy still stuck in the air. So for the time being, I'm just gonna take apart my first farm here. And this means we can actually also remove the lower part here and just exchange this with a bunch of tiles. That means we're also not gonna need those doors anymore, and we can get rid of parts of the automation wire. Naturally, we want to make sure to clean everything up nice and tidy. Okay, now I'm a little bit worried that nobody is actually doing that sweep command. We should be bringing this atmos suit to our rocket. Why is this not happening? Very curious, I have to say. Also, maybe let's clean up the critters a little bit and get some more meat in the joint. Ah, there we go. Another thing I wondered is whether or not we have some algae in this world, and we actually do, which means I want to store that in the rocket as well and bring it to the third planetoid. That would be an organics, algae, yes, bring me that too, but especially the freaking suit, I want that. Okay, looks like they will not be bringing this atmos suits over. There's not even a command on it. Maybe I can tell Ashcan to equip that. Ashcan? No, what the bastard, he just went past it. So that's not gonna work like this. Got our first farm tiles in the joint, so we're gonna go ahead and actually plant those grub fruit seeds. Storage bin, copy those settings over. Yeah, that should be good. Ah, okay, I get it. So now they are delivering. For some reason, because I didn't have a module here, they weren't willing to deliver the materials. Not sure why that was a thing. But now I reinstalled a cargo module basically. And as you can see, my duplicants are all bringing the algae over. I'm glad to see that. And if we're lucky, we also have the... Oh no. They brought all the atmos suits. Why would you do that? I mean, some of them were docked. Look at that. That does absolutely make no sense, does it? Is it because of the priority maybe? Okay, let's see. What if we set this to priority 8 and then in the base we set all the docks to priority 9, right? Usually that shouldn't be an issue. So especially all of these empty docks should now have priority 9. Wonderful. And obviously we want to deliver back the suits. This is absolute insanity. Why would you do this to me? And by the way, where is all the scaffolding in the background? Oh no, hopefully I didn't already break the game. There we go, that's what I wanted to see. Now we have one single atmos suit left and we are storing plenty of algae. So all we're waiting for is a little bit of food. Okay, that's actually now all looking good. I believe we are ready to get this launch. Yeah, there's definitely some graphical things going on I don't comprehend. I already set course. All we need to do is set this to crew, make sure we have the right crew. This time around, we're gonna send Ashcan just to spice it up a little bit, you know. And maybe in preparation for this, we should also set up a storage bin here on the top. Now, people have pointed out that this liquid lock might get cooked up very soon. We will have to see with the first rocket launch. I don't think it's gonna evaporate with the first rocket, but we'll have to see. Anyways, we don't necessarily need that liquid lock. I just wanted a way to get up there, still, you know, having the capability of breathing and build this rocket launch platform. But now that we have the pad in place, it's not even that important. My main exit of the base is gonna be out this way. Anyways, for now, I would like to store my materials here. So I want to make sure there is a storage bin we build really quickly. And then for the time being, we're gonna disable this atmosuit checkpoint. There we go. Ashcan is in the rocket. We are ready to launch this. Let's do this. Acknowledge warnings. Wait, what is the warning? There is a warning here, but it doesn't say anything. I guess it's probably because of the empty cargo module. But honestly, in this case, why would I care about 600 kilograms if I can transport 20,000 kilograms? Yeah, I would have sent it without a cargo module anyway, so let's go ahead, acknowledge warnings, and we're gonna launch this. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, blast off. In the meantime, by the way, I'm still digging like crazy. I also actually cramped up the temperature a little bit. The system we have going on here is actually heating up the water much quicker than I anticipated. I think I'm gonna switch back to normal pipes with granite, so it does take just a tad longer. The radiant pipes really weren't necessary. And you can see we have plenty of water going on here. How are my plants doing? Oh yes, okay, we're ready to fill this all up with grub fruit plants. Oh, I think we have already arrived, haven't we? Yeah, Ashcan has nothing to do right now. And if we have a look down below here, well, I have to disappoint you guys. It hasn't heated up a little bit yet. Well, we'll have to see once we launch the rocket again how much it heats up really. But let's set this to all crew again, and then what we want to store in here is the algae from our rocket. So algae is gonna go here, and we also want to bring the spacesuit. So I guess we could go ahead and deliver a suit at priority 9. That should technically work out. In the rocket itself, we don't want to store the algae any longer, but what we want to store is metal or gold, as much as we can. We actually have plenty of it. We have like, wait, that was the wrong planet. We have 28 tons, so we can definitely do some of that. But I'm guessing we're gonna need a bunch of ladders to even make this possible. Oh yeah, thinking about it, that could actually be a problem. We might want to focus on that first, so Ashcan can actually get out of there. Hold on, where the heck is Ashcan? Did he actually manage to leave? Oh yes, he did. So he's bringing the spacesuit right there. Wonderful. Okay, and now we want to bring up all the gold. Yes. Ah, this is gonna be so good. Look at this bastard. He actually stole the barbecue. Oh, this is amazing. Oh, Max, you sneaky bastard, getting in a good meal. In the meantime, Ashcan is still filling up my chest here. We already accumulated 5.8 tons, not bad. Now, I'm a little bit worried about breathability here. I might want to enable the algae terrarium. Max! What a sneaky guy, just squeezing in a poop in the rocket. Okay, we took care of the algae, which is absolutely wonderful. Look at this. This is gonna give us lots of breathability for the upcoming cycles. It's still not gonna be enough, but it's gonna help. Alrighty, we should be done by now. Yeah, we have 20 tons of gold amalgam. Ashcan is back in the cockpit and we are ready to launch this. Hold the phone right here. We want to change our destination again, go back to our home planet and launch this. Yeah, cargo module is empty. What you gonna... Oh, I'm sorry, Max. Now, let's observe this. Yeah, this is not heating up at all. Well, I mean, it's heating up a little bit, but it's neglectable. Now, while we are building the contraption in the other world, we might want to give some building commands or at least digging commands for Max. I think we want to dig out more gold, that's for sure. However, do we now want to close this off and make this only accessible from this side, maybe? I mean, we would still have to hook this atmosuit dock up to power and actually also provide it with the oxygen. Yeah, maybe let's go ahead and actually take care of that. We're just gonna set up a simple gas pump like so. And we're gonna have to route some power over here. Should be no issue. Okay, Max, you're gonna take care of that. And you're also gonna cook up some more aluminium. Let's do another 30 crafts or so. That should keep him busy for a while. Wow, rocket already arrived. This is going so freaking quickly. Unbelievable. Ashcan is still taking a nap, but I guess we can now get things started finally. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. So let's dive into power and we want to grab our natural gas generators. We're gonna build them out of gold amalgam, just as I said. So that's gonna go right here, right there. We should be able to set up 2 more of those. That's good. Do they also have an output? Wonderful. They actually come with their own carbon dioxide output, which is absolutely perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring this down here and then we're gonna lead this all the way over here. This is my current carbon dioxide output. We wanna combine these pipes. Now let's actually make this out of insulated pipes. Why the heck not? Just to keep it uniform. Now actually building this is gonna be a little bit of a pain in the butt. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself access from this side and then we finish building everything before we introduce the liquids. But this is the only way I'm going to be able to set up everything. That also means technically we can close this off. Maybe use the space for something else. There we go. All out of the way. Let's build 2 more of these. Which also means we're going to need more piping with gas bridges. You go right there, there and there. We're then also going to go with granite pipes in order to distribute the heat or chill. In this case, it's gonna come in at around 100 degrees or so. Actually, it might come in even lower than that. So I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna use radiant pipes just to be sure we have a nice heat distribution going on here. And this way we might be able to cool down the natural gas generators a little bit easier. We are then going to introduce a little bit of petroleum. I think at least that's what I want to do. Do we have enough petroleum to make this work? Actually not. So actually I think what I'm gonna do is set up something more or less temporary here. Just a little liquid vent here. And I also want to make sure this is controllable. So we want to set up some automation for this. Oh, hold on. Actually, that isn't even necessary. We don't need to dump petroleum in here just yet because, of course, these guys are going to produce polluted water, which we then can use as a medium of heat transfer. Obviously, a vacuum is not going to transfer any heat. Even if we have the pipes going through the generators, it's not going to cool them down without a medium such as gas or liquid. But polluted water in this case is going to be its own thing, so we don't need to introduce our own liquids. Another thing we can go ahead and prepare now is the natural gas from our second planetoid that is accumulating and accumulating. And of course, we also want to introduce that in our system. So we are gonna go up, let's actually do it right here. So it's nice and symmetrical. For that reason, we're actually also going to change the carbon dioxide pipe. So we don't want to route it through here anymore. Actually, as a matter of fact, we want to go down here perfectly straight. It's just gonna look much better this way. Uh-oh, this is not good. Natural gas generator is already going for it. Of course, we still want to do some automation for this and everything. One way we can fix this is by simply setting up one automation wire. By default, it's gonna send a red signal and therefore shut these generators off. So yeah, that is already producing polluted water, but also carbon dioxide, which is gonna be very useful to keep going with our rockets. Okay. Actually, this had much more consequences than I first anticipated. Now, of course, we have everything full of polluted oxygen. Okay, I guess we're back to pumping things out a little bit. Where could we put the polluted oxygen? I guess just in this pipe, and then it's going to our base instead. Though honestly, it's still gonna be a pain in the butt because of the power requirements. We need to bring power over here, and I simply don't want to do that. Well, I guess let's expand this copper wire here. That might be the easiest thing to do. I curse your negligence! Oh, I totally forgot about that. I just broke my atmos suit dock, but of course not everything is going to be oxygen in our base. So I guess we have to add a gas element sensor with a gas vent. We cannot do a high pressure vent. If this detects oxygen, we want to close the vent. So we need our famous NOT gate here. And that should hopefully work out a little bit better. Oh no, we just keep on doing it. Look, yeah, we are damaging it again and again. Oh, please, just don't do this. Disable the pump until we have the automation built. Okay, we're actually almost done pumping out the polluted oxygen. Naturally, we will have some polluted oxygen in this room, but this doesn't really matter. I also changed my mind about where to have my liquid reservoirs. I think we just don't have enough space in here to make this liquid reservoir really work. So what I'm gonna do instead is set up 2 batteries that are going to control the natural gas generators. And then maybe on the right side we can have a hydro sensor with a small pump in order to pump out the polluted water. But let's just wait for this to finish. I guess we can already get started by deconstructing this part. Yeah, that should be fine. Go away. This is taking forever. I think we did it. Well, in this case, let's get rid of everything again. That was a costly mistake. We then want to go ahead and set up some smart batteries. We could also... actually, we cannot make them out of gold amalgam, but refined iron actually has the same properties with plus 50 degrees overheat temperature. So we're gonna place that battery right here, and we also want to get into automation and set up an automation wire through all of this. Don't need those pipes anymore, and we're gonna set up another battery like that. Next up, we want to pump up the polluted water as soon as we have enough. It's not gonna produce as much, I believe, so all we can do is go with the mini liquid pump. Though this is an overheat temperature I cannot change, since we can only build it out of plastic. That's intriguing. So I will have to figure out a way to actually cool this down a little bit better. Yeah, you know, this is really intriguing. I want to experiment around a little bit. Don't judge me, but I want to do a little setup here and just test a few things out. So we're going to have a pump right here. We're then taking some insulated pipes and we're gonna pump things straight up here into our sensor. Yeah, I think we should be able to hop over here. Though we're gonna have a bunch of problems in order to route everything. At the moment, this is my output pipe, so if the liquid is cold enough, we're gonna pump it into our system. If it is still too hot, it's gonna go through the aqua tuner, and then I'm just gonna dump it down below here on top of the batteries and the pump again. So eventually I want this to be dumped here again, and it's gonna make the liquid in this area colder, to the point where it's cold enough for my base and also cooling down the pump. So to make this easier for me, instead of going down here, we are gonna pump things into my system this way. And that means we can get rid of all of that. Give us some more space for the piping, you know. Yes, everyone is helping. Thank you, guys. So now that means I can exit my aqua tuner right into the system, and then we are pumping it up, as mentioned, going through this sensor into the shutoff. You could also go from the sensor directly into the aqua tuner and just set up a bypass, but I kind of wanted to fill up the system a little bit, so I'm wasting 10 watts of power, sue me. Now, I don't want to make the same mistake as before, so before we activate those generators with the batteries, we of course want to take care of that. There is a tiny spot left for a switch that I'm going to utilize. We want to route some automation wire all the way over here. Now, can we set up an AND gate here? So both the switch and the smart batteries will have to send a signal for this system to activate. Yeah, we could probably do something like that and route the wire up here and up there. That's good. So AND gate, you're gonna go right here, and then we take some more cabling and connect this. Better than having to pump out the room again. The easiest thing would have been to just not hook up the natural gas yet, but what you gonna do? You know, one thing I actually wonder about, should we use some ceramic? I believe that might not be the worst of ideas, especially for these 4 tiles. Yeah, I mean, this room is gonna get pretty hot and we want to cool this down, so this might be more efficient for its insulation properties. Are you freaking kidding? I forgot to set the signal switch off. Guys, I'm gonna reload the save game. I think I'm just gonna go back to the beginning of the day. I'll be right back. Okay, everything in place, including the insulated tiles. Now let's get back to the liquid mini pump and we're gonna set this up right there. Oh crap, I forgot to hook up the power, so never mind, wait with that, we have to hook up the power first. Said and done, we now have the power in the joint, mini liquid pump, you go right there, finally get this finished. Okay then, with that out of the way, we can wrap up this room with another ceramic tile. We don't need to necessarily exchange those. I mean, the heat transfer is still gonna be slow with igneous rock, but it's just gonna be a tiny bit better with ceramics, if we want to keep this more or less efficient. All is done, we're gonna fill this up with a tiny layer of petroleum here, and therefore we want to release just a bit of petroleum, maybe 200 kilograms or so. And then right here at the bottom we are gonna mop this up. I could have made a little basin with a pitcher pump, that might have been better. Actually, with the room closed off, I think we should be able to enable this all. Yeah, there we go, gas generators are going for it. And they also stopped as soon as the smart batteries were full. This could theoretically become a problem if we are not using up enough energy. So we might want to introduce a couple of systems that use more energy. Now, how did that water get in? Oh man, I will have to observe this. What is happening here? Well, anyways, I guess with that out of the way, we also want to route the power outside of this room. And eventually, I actually want to get rid of this liquid lock altogether. This should be one enclosed system, and we're gonna add a bunch of power transformers to this room as well. Now, there's one thing I actually forgot about. We need to go ahead and cool down the steam turbine as well. And preferably, I would want to do this with the water that's coming out of the aqua tuner. Also, we should set the properties of the sensor here. If the water is above a certain temperature, let's say above 20 degrees, we want to send it through the aqua tuner. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about this for a little bit, but anyways, let's set up 2 power transformers. There will be the space for a 3rd one if we close this off. Actually, that's gonna be a pain in the butt. Maybe I'm just gonna leave it at 2 power transformers and we keep this room accessible. Yeah, I will have to think about that in the next episode, since we need to change a bunch of our power systems to accommodate all of these wires. Also, thinking about it, this is gonna be a pain in the butt for future upgrades, if we ever want to upgrade this to insulated heavy watt wire. Let me see, petroleum, that should actually already be enough. Maybe Ari, don't do that anymore. Instead, what you could do is bring some water, that would be great. Okay, he just brought 200 kilograms, that's definitely gonna be enough. That means we can now go ahead and also close this off. I'm also gonna build this out of ceramic. Oh, hold on, I forgot something. Of course, darn it. I still need to bring the output of the steam turbine back into this room. You know what we're gonna do? We're actually gonna use this pipe here in order to cool down the steam turbine. So instead we could go into this direction. Then we're first gonna cool down the 2 power transformers. So we're gonna have a radiant pipe here and 1 radiant pipe there. And we're gonna continue. We're also gonna have a radiant pipe for the steam turbine. Let's set that up right there. And continue to the output, which means we don't need that output anymore. This is then going to allow us to take the output of the steam turbine and bring it down. Actually, not quite. Yeah, we still have to go in here in order to set up a liquid bridge. I think at least that should be possible to have a bridge there. Yeah, there we go. We can bridge this and then we can have our vent output here at the bottom. Okay, that's good. This only means I have to dig in here and we should get access to this. Gonna have another bridge here, continue the pipe slightly and liquid vent right there. Okay, now the output can go back into the steam room. I think we should be able to make this one large room, so we can also deconstruct this and replace it with a simple power cable. Now I think what I have to do to initially use up a little bit of power is connect these two power transformer, or at least one. So it leaches a little bit of energy, and I guess that means we can take apart this, and this power transformer is not needed any longer. There we go. Now we should be using up some more power, which means my natural gas generators are gonna produce more water for me to actually pump up. And that means we are now truly done here. Hopefully. Did I route everything? Oh, wait. Going from the pump into the sensor, into the aqua tuner, back into the room. If it's cold enough, it's gonna go ahead and cool down some stuff. Yeah, we should be good. So in this case, I'm actually gonna go a little more extreme. We're gonna go down to 10 degrees to give us a little bit of leeway to cool down the power transformers and everything. Now, looking at this, I might have to reroute this cable a tiny bit so I can actually make use of a third power transformer. With that out of the way, we're gonna dump a little bit more petroleum here on the floor as a medium to cool down all of these machines. That reminds me, we now need another radiant pipe here. Okay. All I want is the petroleum to reach all of the generators, which it actually already does. So we can leave this be and actually deconstruct it in order to set up the steam turbine. Power steam turbine. Let's make this out of copper. Why the heck not? I'm gonna go right there. Outputs and everything should be correctamundo. Okay, now let's also set the batteries. I want them to enable the generators at 80% battery life, and they stop at around 95%. The reason we stop at 95% is because they are dependent on their animation. At least that's what I heard. So you want them to stop just before 100%. Could also be 98%. But you know, if we can, we don't want to be wasteful and waste a little bit of power as the animation finishes. Et voila, the last machine is in place. Absolutely wonderful. Now we just have to use up the power and this machine should be going. We can use up the power by pumping up some more carbon dioxide, for instance. That should be using it up. And then later, of course, we're gonna hook it up to the main system. Okay. Now we pumped up a little bit of water. Oh, this is gonna be so wasteful. Don't judge me, but let's check out the temperatures. Is this slowly but surely getting colder? Yeah, I think it's changed. Yeah, look at that. This is definitely getting colder. Yeah, that's one thing I didn't really consider, that we are only pumping up 1,000 grams, not even in this case, and we are using the full power of the aqua tuner. But then again, somehow we have to use up the excess of natural gas, and this way we can produce an immense amount of water, at least eventually. Okay, nice. We're actually at the 10 degrees mark almost, which means soon enough it should go to the output. Wait. Did that not work out? Ah, okay, I get it. If it sends a red signal, it's actually accumulating 10 kilograms of water in this tile instead of continuing. That is intriguing. Hold on. Maybe that is because there is no... There's no way for the water to go yet. So we have to keep on building here and maybe bridge over at this point. Oh man, this is actually really bad. We have to make sure this is being built really quickly. But it's definitely working. We're cooling down the room. We just have to make sure the water can actually exit here before we start breaking pipes. Okay, for some reason I had to add another bridge here for it to be able to escape, but we can now see that the cold liquid is getting out of there. It's gonna cool down the upper room as well. And now everything that is still too hot is gonna go through the aqua tuner. Okay, that's much more like it actually. Well, I guess we're gonna put this system to the test in the next episode as we hook this up to our main system, and then we start maybe setting up a bunch of transit tubes so we can actually also use that power. But now we have more polluted water and we have a way to use up the natural gas. Great stuff. With that out of the way, we're gonna wrap it up for today's episode. I sure hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great time, and hopefully I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye bye.